Yo, Lauren. Hello, hello. First, indeed. Welcome, welcome. Okay. I shield the link everywhere. Now we can start working. So I did something off stream, and specifically I like further improved the drop down a little bit. Let me do that. Yeah, I improved the drop down further, so now this is not 2 buttons anymore. Now it's like just a button and another rectangle on top of it. I also sent I sent the patch in email, so hopefully that will get, I don't know, merged or maybe improved on it. We'll see. Also, I've installed my GDB helpers in like locally, and I've like switched from LRDB to GDB in VS Code, so now I can look at arrays in a debugger, so that's also cool. Yeah, and today I am going to try to support multiple input devices. And before I do that, let me remove certain debug prints that will definitely be in my way. So it's like log. This is a good one. This is a good one. This is a good one. Good one. Good one. Wait, no. Mapping parsed is a bit too noisy. Yeah, and profile parsed is as well. So yeah, let me remove that. Profile parsed. This I probably don't actually need. And this I don't need either. Then I think everything else, device name. Couldn't get device name is also kind of meh. I don't really need device name, it's not important. Okay, yeah. Cool, yeah, now it's less noisy. Maybe I should remove this thing about closing file descriptors as well. Closing file descriptor. Yeah. Hey Zons, hello. Jai? Yes, Jai. Indeed. All right. Yep. So the way my input handling currently works is right, so when the program starts in main, like here, right, in main, the program starts, it needs some shit that creates the window, it starts detecting focused program, and then if OS Linux start logging keys, right, because it's just like weird static if, because my platform layers don't have the same API essentially. And what does start logging keys do? What does it do? Well, no, not this one, right? Well, it creates start logging keys in a thread. Yeah, okay, it creates a thread and it does actually quite a lot. So first, you can notice that it is a call procedure, right? Because it's getting called by a pthread, by the kernel. Hey Sebastian, hello, hello. Second, it gets a loggable device. And this is like, this procedure, it went through multiple iterations of multiple, I guess of like many hours of suffering. And it used actually to be quite a bit bigger. So what it does, it visits every file in the /dev/input directory. It's basically where all of the input devices are registered. And it tries to detect a keyboard by calling the procedure that is called keyboard detector. Right? And what it does, it opens a file descriptor and then it tries to inspect it to see whether it can be a keyboard or not. And the way that it does it is it like creates a list of candidates where like we check the name of the device, here, right? We basically ask the device whether it supports key presses, here, whether it supports key presses, right? And after that, we inspect which exact keys it kind of registers, because each device, it can kind of say, okay, I can handle like certain amount of keys, right? For example, I have an external numpad, here it is, that will only register these keys to the kernel. Like I can only handle these keys. So we kind of get this list from the kernel, and then I do like this little silly logic. Basically, you know, if, hey John, yeah, code in every time. Welcome, welcome. Right? So basically, if it's a W or A or S or D, unless the device provides one of those keys, I don't even consider the keyboard, which is like a very, very hacky thing to do, right? After that, I'm adding to the candidate. Yeah, adding that to the keyboard candidate. And this used to be way more convoluted. This used to actually inspect HID descriptors, right? So it used to like look at HID descriptors and say what kind of UUID device specified, and tries to intelligently find whether it's a keyboard or not. And all of this complicated logic, because Linux can't just tell you like this is like an active keyboard that just been pressed. The kernel APIs are way more low level, and the thing that gives you like a virtual keyboard on your desktop is like either X11 like server or Wayland Compositor. They actually the ones that take all the keyboard candidates, right? Because there can be multiple keyboard devices from one keyboard, like one physical keyboard, you know, it depends on the driver. And those compositors or like X11 desktops, they multiplex those physical devices, or I guess kernel devices, and they multiplex it into virtual device that then gets applied to the client. So clients don't have to deal with that. But I don't work through the desktop layer. I work directly with the kernel because I want to be independent from the windowing system, right? And I want to be as fast as possible. I guess that's also kind of a goal. Like, which is probably a performance probably isn't like that big of a concern when you handle input, because it will still be fast enough. But yeah, I just don't want to depend on either X11 or Wayland. Maybe I will have to in the future, but I want to avoid it for as much as I can. Also, let me know if music is too loud. I can make it quieter. Yeah, you still haven't fixed your code, John. Is that the code that was running for multiple days and then you realize that you forgot like something like a SQRT or I don't know? Yeah. That's okay. So first of all, I need to remove this piece of garbage that tests for like WASD. I guess instead of testing, I can just say, okay, do you register a key? If you register a key, you know, I include you. We are inclusive over here. So we will just delete that. How about this? Do you like this idea? If you can press a key, you're good for me. Looks good enough. And so we collecting all of these devices into the array, like a candidate array. And after we did that, we did it in this like kind of visitor. Then what we do, we create a thing called like poll.fd, and this is like, if you ever dealt with Unix, this is probably very familiar to you, right? I create a poll over a set of file descriptors, and I add each device from that list to the set of these file descriptors here. Is basically an array of poll.fds. And what poll.fd is? Poll.fd is a structure that contains file descriptor and events that you want to listen in. And I actually forgot what this means. This, I guess, is like okay, actually can do just that. Manual entry for poll RP. No, okay, it's a manual for poll. Yeah, man, I think it's man 2 poll. Yeah. Emacs can read manual pages. Can you imagine that? Yeah. So poll in, there is a data to read, and poll RP, there is some exceptional condition on the file descriptor. Oh, okay. So basically either an error or some data, right? It's not even 80, it's 70. But yeah, but yeah, right. So either something to read or an error, right? And I think this log, I don't need it. And after that, I execute a poll, and poll will actually block. It will block right here. And so what it does is that it will wait for this poll in event, and after that I'm gonna like does it block here? This one blocks, right? The poll will block, and then after the poll kind of releases itself, I am iterating over the file descriptors, and I see which of them got triggered. And after I know which of them got triggered, I basically assign it to the device. So device is like, okay, we detected the keyboard. So this method that I arrived to has quite a bit of a downside. Well, first, it bails out after it finds the first keyboard, right? So for example, if I clicked on the keyboard, like I can't work with my numpad after that. Or if I would have clicked on my numpad, the keyboard would have been out of question. And the second thing, it means that I just swallow the first key on the keyboard. What's that? Ah, it's Twitch trying you to like spend your money on the streamers. Yeah. Like you open any Twitch channel and you have this huge ass banner that covers like half of the page. Like, do you know that you can gift subs? Damn. I honestly surprised that like people still gift subs to streamers, considering how bad current economy is. Like, hey Nuno, how else do we feel this void? Void? Hollow Knight reference? But yeah, I returned the device. Oh, come on. Thanks for the sub, an anonymous gifter. I wasn't trying to like subvert people into gifting subs. I actually like unironically think that in the current economy, like subs are just not like attainable, right? Because everyone has like a bunch of services they're subscribed to already, and now Twitch wants you to give you like your hard-earned money or like your mom's money to some like girl on Twitch who's just like chilling on the beach, right? Or to some like stinky like nerd gamer, whatever. I don't know. Ew, a girl, yeah. Real. I don't like boobs. Yeah, boobs brought nothing but pain to humanity. Imagine how many wars and killing sprees were caused by boba. Probably all of them, right? To be honest, probably all of them. All of the wars were caused by because someone couldn't get laid. That's why ancient Greece was so chill, because bro would never let you down. Anyway. So yeah, we returned the device. And now I can log this device, but the issue is that I kind of swallow this, I think. Right? Do I? No, I actually don't swallow it. I pass the key further, right? So start logging keys in a thread. It gets the device here. Finally, we got the device. We open it. And then we... Oh yeah, this bit of logic. This is kind of a sneaky one, right? wait for all button on the original keyboard to get unpressed before grabbing it, right? So imagine this scenario. I run the program, I accumulate input devices, right? And I start listening for first of them to get the key press. So someone presses the key, I detect the keyboard, and then I grab it. And if I do that, if I grab the keyboard before a person unpresses the key, then all existing listeners who were listening to that original device, they get this stuck state. Because like it happens so fast. Like somebody presses the key, I detect the keyboard, I immediately grab it and start funneling devices to the virtual like keyboard. Even if I pass the unpress further, it still wouldn't work because clients, they already listen for that other keyboard. And so the situation I was in, because I was testing this program on my laptop, which already has another program grabbing a keyboard, is that she just got stuck, right? I would press the key, I grab the keyboard, and then the key would just get like stuck in the terminal or something. So I introduced this bit of logic here to avoid that. Hey Leonto, what's up, what's up? People arrive, indeed. Wait for all buttons on the original keyboard to get unpressed before grabbing it. The reason is something else might be listening for inputs on the original keyboard and it'll get stuck if we suddenly grab it. For example, touchpad prevents the cursor from moving when you touch it while typing. If I grab the keyboard while it thinks that some key is pressed, it goes into infinite stuck loop until I ungrab the keyboard. Hence this loop, yeah. I hope it makes sense, right? You type something on your laptop, your touchpad disables yourself, then something grabs your keyboard, and touchpad driver never sees the key unpress because it was listening for the original device, right? And it never enables itself because it thinks that the key is still kind of getting pressed. This kind of situation. And I would have never catched it if I haven't like developed this thing on my laptop as well. And what we do here, we have a loop with can grab equals false. Oh, so I have this can grab equals false because Jai doesn't have gotos yet. Like, I think yesterday people were talking about goto in the secret beta Discord, and it's like, yeah, it's not a high priority. Right, so yeah, can grab equals false. So I read the key. I wait while it's an actual, I think, key release, right? Key bit result. Yeah, I get the state if key, yeah, can grab true. Why? Yeah, okay. So if test key it can grab equals false. Right, so yeah. While at least some button is like still pressed on the original device, I can't grab it. So I'm just gonna wait. I'll just wait for a human to release all of the buttons they might be holding on the original device, and then I just break out of the loop, and then I can finally grab it. Right. And this logic wouldn't have been needed. I think this whole logic wouldn't have been needed if I created my program like as a service, like as a systemd service or something like that, because then it would have launched together with an OS where nothing holds the keyboard yet, and like this crap could have been avoided. And after that, like this essentially means that I swallow the very first key press. And this actually means, so imagine I just launched the program, right? It waits for me to press any key to detect the keyboard. But I don't press any keys, right? I click mouse on the profile and I want to change the mapping. I'm adding mapping, and okay, I want to add a map from left bracket to right bracket. I press the left bracket and nothing happens because I swallowed the key. And only now I know what the keyboard is, and now I can press it. But I think I broke it again. Fuck. Yeah. I think I broke it. Fuck. Oh. Wait, did it? Is it? Why doesn't it work? Excuse me? What? Where the... Oh, it doesn't detect key presses? Did I break something again? You know why? This is why, because final device is Sony Interactive Entertainment DualSense wireless controller. This motherfucker actually forces me to fix my program. I was just talking about it. So if some device grabs the input, I can't process anything else. So today I bought a controller. Look at this bastard. Like, it arrived today. This is a PS5 controller. And I bought it actually so I can implement controller support in my program. And now it fucks with me. It plainly disrespects me by taking over my program here. It's interesting because I actually don't even click anything here. I don't click anything here. You know what I think happens? I think that maybe it's like analog dead zones or something. They like trigger the... They might trigger the pole socket. Like the pole events. Or something. So yeah, that's cool. Also, interestingly enough is that I didn't need to install any kind of driver for it to get recognized by the kernel, which surprises me a lot. I remember like 7, maybe 6 years ago, I tried to game on Linux with Xbox 360 controller, and I had to dig a lot to find the working driver for the controller. I just couldn't, like, it took me like 3 hours to get it to work on Linux. And this bitch, I just plug it in and it takes over my entire system. And you know what I've noticed today? So on PS5 controller, this thing, it registers itself as a touchpad. So I can actually control my mouse by like gently touching it. And if I do like 2 fingers touch, it does scrolling. And then like all of the surface is a left click. But this like tiny bottom right corner acts as a right click. And it works out of the box. I didn't need to configure anything for this. This is crazy. Can 2025 be the year of Linux desktop? I don't know. Oh, hey Simeon. I didn't know you streamed. Always see you in Raphael's and Soding's chat. Yeah. It's me. And yeah, DualSense is crazy. Like, it adds headphones device, it adds microphone device, it adds keyboard device, right? And it adds like touchpad and mouse. It adds a controller. It's 5 devices in a trench coat. Like it is a crazy thing. It is an ultimate stress test for your program. Empty Code on YouTube asks, do you think it's possible to get addicted to programming and forget other important aspects of your life? I feel like that's what I have done in the past 2 weeks, and I have some regrets. First, hello, welcome, and yes, this can happen for sure. Especially when you start or like get into a project that you're super passionate about. At least for me, I can code the whole day. I can just forget to eat, you know, like easily. Like I will be so in the zone, either coding something or like debugging something, that when I finally done, I realize that I almost like shitting myself and I need to rush to bathroom. So yeah, it can definitely happen. It would be nice if, as a viewer, I could also have YouTube chat open without having the stream open on YouTube. Yeah. I mean, if you have the stream open, can you pop it out? Because as a streamer, I can pop the chat out on YouTube, but I don't know if you can do that as a viewer. My back kind of hurts, also shoulders. Also messed up my sleep routine. I slept at 7. Yeah. This is called a programming time. You're on a programming schedule. Yeah, this can easily happen. Funnily enough, so here I am on a dark theme in my editor, and I only use dark themes when it's like dark outside, so I don't fuck up with my circadian rhythms, right? And normally during the day, like, and at my work, I program on light color schemes. This actually kind of helps me to switch things a bit. Oh, you found a new one. Interesting. Yeah. I mean, I generally prefer light themes because because I have a brightly lit room, right? And I don't know, it's just like I just got used to them, whatever. But I kind of found this dark theme that I don't really mind, so I can use it. I like it too. Oh, Slorent on YouTube. Looks like I can pop out the YouTube chat. Pog. Epic. Yeah. I'm thinking about starting streaming on Twitter as well and see if my upload channel handles it well. Speaking of, let me shield my exclamation mark. Wait, no, I need to enable my bot first. I need to program myself a new bot, because this is getting ridiculous anyway. Yeah, here's my stuff. Like, Discord is where I post stream notifications anyway. Yeah, and I don't have my bot on YouTube, but it's in a video description. But anyway, it's Blow theme. No, it's not his theme actually. His theme is it has similar background, but it's completely different theme. So his theme is slightly modified, actually, like not many people know that. But his theme is slightly modified built-in Emacs theme that is called... I don't remember. It's either Wheatgrass... Yeah, I think it's Wheatgrass. Okay, brace yourself, maybe you're gonna be flashbanged. Yeah. So, like, I think his theme is slightly modified this one. And this is a theme built into Emacs. Like, it just gets shipped with the Emacs. I think that's what he's using. But, yeah, background is lighter and whatnot. And I'm using EF Bio. But I also modified that. I removed the italics and I also lightened the background. Yeah, here's my custom. Yeah, this is how I use it. That sounds about as much effort as John would put in for a setting. Grab one and tweak the background. I mean, yeah, I actually dig his aesthetics a lot. You know, he describes a lot of color schemes as fuck, what? Fruit salad, right? Yeah, fruit salad, right? So stuff like, you know, like this, where there's like a lot of bright, like different bright colors going on. Or maybe like Groovebox. Yeah, this is like peak fruit salad, right? A lot of bright colors, bright high contrast, this kind of stuff. You know what I use at work? Okay, brace yourself. Flashbang alert. This is the color scheme I normally use. It has minimalistic colors, right? So it basically doesn't highlight anything. It kind of highlights function calls. It has nice color for comments, so it doesn't gray them out. And it has slightly green tint to the strings. So, but yeah, it has minimalistic coloring. Yeah. Hey, Vivian Villor. Half step. And half step, yeah, hey people. Sorry, I'm yapping a lot today. I'm in the yappy mood. Maybe I should switch to just chatting. But yeah, anyway. Hey Bunch Hubu, hello. I really like to highlight comments and strings. That's totally fair. Actually, so the older I become, the more I agree with that. Light theme is impossible for me, says empty code. Friction contrast, never heard of it. I was thinking, love from Bulgaria. Yeah, welcome. I was on Twitter today and there was like a guy from Bulgaria who had to go to the police and explain himself for some Twitter meme. I actually thought that Bulgaria is quite chill, you know, with like freedom of speech in the internet. But I guess like the entire Europe is kind of moving, you know, to become a Russia 101 slowly but steadily, which is kind of concerning. Why he used OP in a simple project? True. Rain glow. Okay, let's actually check it out. Rain glow. Rain glow. Like this? There's like a lot of rain glow themes. Ah! Yeah, I guess rain glow, it's maybe like somebody who creates color schemes. Oh, it's called friction contrast. Yeah, sorry, I can't read. So this one, right? Or just friction. I mean, I can see that. It has this like low contrast kind of tint to it. Yeah, I know. I think there's like two different revision of his theme here. But yeah, anyway, let me try to, like, as soon as I start bike shading about Emacs and color schemes, I instantly see an increase in the amount of viewers. This is concerning. People don't want to see programming. They want to Watch an old guy complaining about color schemes. Boo-hoo. Yeah, VS Code is bad. I actually use it just as a debugger. Cappuccino makes me go blind. Is it cappuccino or is it like cat puccin? Yeah, cat puccin. Yeah. Oh, Simeon, switch to YouTube. I actually like restreaming to YouTube because like YouTube, right? If you don't care about the chat, if you just want to lurk, YouTube is objectively like superior watching experience because you can pause, you can rewind, right? And if you like fell back because you rewinded, you can increase the speed so you can catch up. Like YouTube is just better technically than Twitch. And you hate the ads. That's totally understandable. I also hate the ads. Like Sublime. Sublime is fine. I probably have it. No, I don't have Sublime here. Yikes. Cringe. Anyway, so half step. IntelliJ. I used to use IntelliJ a lot back in the days. I used PyCharm, RubyMine, like PHP Storm, and then the CLion, but CLion only for debugging. And then I switched to, I mean, I've always kind of used Emacs, but I finally switched to it because I just had so many different languages I needed to constantly use. I just couldn't hop between JetBrains IDs. But I unironically think that JetBrains is probably like the best thing when you think about, you know, like big ass IDE. Yeah, VS Code is very bad when it comes to so when do we talk about fonts? Okay, don't get me started on fonts, please. I can rant about fonts a lot. Yeah. VS Code is like, it used to be very fast for an Electron editor. Like I remember, what 2016, maybe 17, when it just first arrived. I remember it was so fast I couldn't believe it's an Electron app because I was comparing it to like Slack and Atom. And I was, holy shit, no way this is an Electron application. But now, like 8 years in the future, it is very believable, right? I think the only good thing about VS Code when it comes to like performance and stuff is that the startup times are actually pretty good, right? Like this is pretty good for an Electron app. This is a pretty fast startup. Like I can give it to them. Like for an Electron application, this is quite impressive. And I actually have to use VS Code now at work because so at my job, one of the products we ship is a commercial plugin for Visual Studio Code. So I'm using it at work for kind of a dog fooding, right? So I use the plugin myself so that I know if it's like usable or not, you know. So at work, I just committed to using VS Code because, and I think all my coworkers do, besides like sysadmin, because, you know, he doesn't need to work on the extension as much, so he just uses whatever. But as a hobby, like when I work on a personal stuff, I don't use VS Code. I try to configure it to my liking, but there's still a lot of rough edges that I just can't get over. So yeah, I can use it, I can get around, but it's not like, you know, I can commit to it. I don't like Emacs either, but it's all Stockholm syndrome. I don't endorse Emacs. Like don't get me wrong. Yeah, Z. I've heard a lot about Z. I even have it installed, but yeah, I don't really use it. So what do we do? PS5 controller kind of fucked me in the asshole. I could switch to Emacs or Vim. I have been fine with VS Code plus Vim plugin. I mean, that's what I do. Like, Emacs is not about key bindings. Emacs is just like a clay that you form to your liking, right? Nobody, not a single person uses Emacs for key bindings. I'm using Evil Mode on Emacs, which is, it is a Vim implementation in Emacs. Hey tool, hello. Another Emacs user. Easy clap. Yeah. Or do you mean to use VS Code with Vim plugins? But because yeah, VS Code, I also have Vim for VS Code, but Vim plugin for VS Code is kind of bad, right? Because the PS5 controller fucking you. Yeah, I see. Understandable. Vim plugin for VS Code is very bad. Unlike in Emacs, it's like full-blown implementation. Implement everything in Vim. Probably, I don't know. But it must be. You know, Hero, hello. Yeah, like all the Vim plugin and VS Code haters come out of Lurk and let's hate it together. Right, so what do we do here? So first, I shouldn't, when I'm getting a virtual device, I should not do this. I think the thing that detects devices should always be running in the background. Like, that's for sure. Right? So now I just call this thing and it exits when it detects like whatever. You only write in binary. What do you mean write in binary? Do you mean like do you mean like you're editing hex files or what? I see. Got me. Got him. Oh, it's an XKCD. Oh, fuck me. No, it's the one about editors. Yeah. Butterfly. Yeah, I know that one. Can read code, can't write it, prefer notes. Notes as in like notes as in like some kind of blueprinting stuff like in Unreal or what? Hey Patrick, what's up? You like Z because it's trying to provide people with non-WebView alternative to VS Code and it's fast. That is actually a very respectable reason to like it. I definitely respect it. I respect it because they are actually trying something like new in the editor space, right? Because for other editors and IDEs, there are ways to make a collaborative editing environment, but they actually like try to push it, you know, they make it like the first class citizen. Right? They kind of do this whole like Figma for code situation, and they like using like ropes and RDT as fuck, like those data structures for collaborative document editing that that guy with Xi editor was experimenting like 4 years ago or so. And I was looking at streams by, what was his name, like Thurston Bell or something? The guy that's working on Z. he was streaming on, I think, SSH implementation in Z or something, and he was pair programming with his coworker, and it was very smooth. Like they were editing the same file, you know, collaboratively, and yeah, it was quite impressive. You know, I like, it's not something I need. You know, it's not something I would pay for because I don't need this kind of stuff. But I can imagine, you know, someone who can actually, who actually needs that. Yeah. Do you actually know, Patrick, that it's not the first attempt at a native editor to replace VS Code? Have you heard about Oni Vim 2? Oni Vim 2? What was it? Yeah, this one. Like this one. Sorry for the flashbang. I'd actually, like, since we're here, let's change the settings. How do you do it? Appearance? Here. Hopefully I like didn't flash my API keys or something. Programming languages. Hey Batman, hello. Yeah, so there was a text. The fuck? Scroll bar disappeared. There was a text editor a lot of time ago that looked like this. It basically looks like VS Code, right? But it's kind of it's like Vim. It embeds NeoVim as a library, and it was written in Reason. And they actually tried to make it work like commercially, right? So it was a commercial editor. It like fully native. They written their own like GUI framework in Reason, and I remember like a lot of people liked it, but yeah, Rick, in Reason is a programming language. Like Reason ML. Yeah, so so it something that compiles to Java? I thought it's a native language. Fast quality type safe code will leverage in both JavaScript. Oh, it's a OCaml. Okay. It's like something over OCaml, I guess runtime or something. Yeah. Right, and so the way their commercial situation worked is that they would have their main editor that you have to pay for to use, and then they have an MAT version that is like 2 years behind, you know, in the development, and they would also supply a way to build it from source. And in order to build it from source, you had to like download a Docker container, and build process took 40 minutes. On my, at the time, like modern laptop. Like no wonder it didn't go anywhere. Like it's even worse than Rust. Like Rust situation is pretty bad when it comes to compile times, but that was just dog shit. So yeah, no wonder it died. JavaScript for functional bros, I get it. Yeah, it's like, yeah, I don't know anything about Reason. I just remembered it because it was also like an attempt to target VS Code devs with a native editor, but I guess it wasn't native enough, right? But anyway, so if I want to, let me try to get productive at least a little bit. I'm losing the plot. I want, I guess, this stuff to be always running and detecting new devices as they like connect and disconnect. And I want these devices to kind of get accumulated into some sort of a loop. And then, like here, login keys in a thread, like do I want to grab every individual device? This sounds kind of like sketchy, right? Like, so can I like create an amalgamated input device that represents like a keyboard, a mouse, a controller at the same time? Or do I want to grab it like per device type? Maybe I don't need to grab mouses and controllers. Mouses? Mices? Just mice? How do you say mouse plural? Maybe I don't need to grab those because in a keyboard I actually need to. Like keyboard I need to grab. It won't work otherwise. Mice. Okay, just mice. Thank you. It sounds like agree with Simeon. It sounds like I probably want to grab per device type. And it's kind of cool that you don't really need to ungrab. If the device gets I actually checked that, tested it out. If the device gets disconnected physically, the kernel just automatically ungrabs it. For computer mouse, both are accepted. Thank you, Konstantinos. But like, why? English doesn't make sense to me. It just straight up does not. Yeah. I speak English, but it doesn't make sense to me. I only speak it like not naively, like intuitively. Like I only speak English because I guess I've heard a lot of English. I never, you know, learned it formally. I guess these days nobody really learns it formally, right? What do you think the plural of moose is? I actually heard that. Is it just moose? Like the same word? No, it's definitely not me's. I remember it's mooses. Okay, it's mooses. Holy mooses. Yeah, this also sounds kind of complicated. Mises, Moses, Mises. Holy mooses. It's the same as the singular. I knew it. I said it correctly. Because I remember hearing it somewhere. Like, I was born in a place with a lot of deers. And I really like deers. And I always heard that like moose is just a huge ass deer. And I always like wanted to see like a moose in a real life. So I remembered when I've heard that plural moose in English is just also moose. It was kind of fascinated me. It was fascinating to me. The only thing you need to know at the end is if and else, and that's it. Yes. You know what I'm also thinking about? I'm like contemplating maybe I should use something like lib input. Because I think lib input does this kind of stuff already. And as far as I know, literally all Linux distros these days, they ship lib input. And lib input also does so-called device quirks. Like a lot of devices on Linux have faulty drivers, or they're like very chatty. You know, they like do double keys or like fuck up like scroll events or whatever. And lib input handles all that. And this is why lib input is an official part of a Wayland stack. So all Wayland compositors without exception ship lib input. And I think modern X11 also ships lib input because, right, it just does X lib input driver for touchpads or I don't know, whatnot. So maybe instead of trying to do this manually, I need to do lib input instead, because even if I implement this stuff manually, imagine somebody, Siemens says both X11 and Wayland should have it by default unless you're on very old system. Yeah. For Wayland, lib input package should be installed as a dependency of any graphical environment. Yeah. What do off-the-shelf windowing libraries like I use? I use none. I use windowing library that Jai compiler ships with, and it's like custom-made windowing library that uses. They don't. So they just use platform API for input. In case of windowing library in Jai, it just uses it would just use X11, so it uses like desktop level inputting. But I am doing my own input. I do my own inputs. So I have an entirely separate thread that listens for the device explicitly. So I don't rely on whatever inputting system Jai does. The only thing I use it for is to handle clicks like in the UI, right? So I let it handle clicks in the UI because like UI library integrated with it, like this kind of stuff, right? Yeah, I can't press a button because the controller interjects with it. But it's also like kind of custom made, and it just uses whatever platform does under the hood. I don't support native Wayland, no. And the simple reason is there is no way on Wayland to know currently focused window. Right, so it prints when an X11 window gets focused, and on Wayland you can't do that. There's literally no protocol for that. Because more security. That's SDL. SDL, it uses lib input if the underlined environment uses lib input, because SDL under the hood, it doesn't go further than the desktop environment. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I understand your question now. Thanks, Simeon. Yeah. I completely misunderstood your question at first. Yeah, sorry, my bad. But yeah, SDL, GLFW, they just use X11 or libwayland. They don't go all the way back, all the way to the kernel. They don't do that. So I'm like below them. Do you get the focus thingy if your X11 program runs? Yes, exactly. So my program is X-Wayland program. That's why I can get the focus event. And all, like literally all modern games that you run on Linux, even those that are running through Proton, they are also on X-Wayland. So I can get those. So the exception would be if, for example, the game runs SDL with Wayland backend enabled for some reason, right? Then I wouldn't be able to know whether it's focused or not. Or if, for example, Proton switches to Wayland backend by default. I know that Wine recently shipped Wayland backend that kind of supposedly works reasonably well. And in the future, they might just hard switch to it by default. In this case, this functionality that the text focused window kind of screwed. And I would need to be able to provide a certain way to toggle this program on and off. Maybe with a key binding, or maybe I would have to... like, I don't even fucking know. I don't even know what I would do, to be honest. In this case. Because yeah, so far there's literally no way to know what program is focused on Wayland. I mean, maybe because, right, in Win32 there is a way to do that. There is an actual API to get currently focused window in Win32. So maybe somebody will ask Free Desktop to create a protocol for that that will later be implemented by the compositor, by compositors. You know, so they can emulate it in Wine, right? But yeah, it just takes so fucking long. You know, maybe what's gonna happen? Valve has a GitHub repo with the experimental protocols just for their use, for game scope, right? There was like a drama recently because they didn't want to deal with Free Desktop because Free Desktop are a bunch of old fucks that just don't want to work for the people. So Valve just created their own kind of Wayland community in quotation marks just so they can iterate quicker on the protocols. So maybe Valve will will implement this functionality, and I will just implement that instead. That would be actually ideal. As a matter of fact, let me quickly Google it. Maybe that already exists. Wayland protocol for detecting currently focused window. Oh my god, I probably shouldn't be using Google for that, right? Because I mean, okay, flashbang, bitches. Hyperland dev got kicked for not liking pronounce. Relatable. I mean, I never got kicked out anywhere for not liking pronounce, but but I was banned for racial slurs. Yeah, it was a long time ago. I didn't know that racial slurs are bad at the time. I was 13. It was 2000. It was 2006. It was 2006, yeah. And it was Russian forums. So yeah, relatable. It happens, yeah. Yeah, we don't do this anymore. I am unironically happy that I've only learned English as an adult. I started interacting with English speaking internet in 2015, 2014. At the time, I was already adult enough to not do stupid shit online at the big scale. But yeah, I had my fair share of situations. Let's see. Let's make Wayland have support for window placement a year ago on Reddit. Let's do this. Let's make Wayland have... Oh shit, is there a proposal already? I learned English on 4chan. I learned English by watching PewDiePie. Yeah. Unironically. And I guess other similar YouTubers. Next placement V1 closed. Closed as implemented? Wait. Wait a second. But this isn't the way to solve it. While this proposal of the direct translation, application with inadequate knowledge of the compositors, like, I mean, I totally get the security right considerations. Okay, we like Wayland's supposed to be secure, and we don't want a programs to get access to window placement like willy-nilly, right? So I mean, just let them request the permission, maybe through portal or something. Right, like the way like Apple does it, but Apple is way overboard with that, because on Mac you launch a program and it like does like 1,000 windows, all of which ask for different permissions. That is kind of crazy. To XDG shell. I'm not gonna read all of this crap. Let me see the conclusion. Closed. The X placement variant for proposition in zones shall allow, okay, in favor of. No. I mean, I just assume that this stuff, right? If you get a window placement, you'll probably get a focused situation. No? Would you not? Like, because placement kind of implies stuff like as like one window is, you know, like painted over the other window, and you would probably want to know that. Introducing zones. Okay, let's read it. Has been changed, closely match the current proposal and give better introduction. The new protocol in this introduces concept of zone, the new per-client coordinate system provided by the compositor and attached to one input, in which it can place its windows. Wow, the client can only know window positions relative to the zone the compositor has assigned to it. And a zone can be defined rectangle with fixed time. This is like completely unrelated. Yeah, this is garbage. Focus. Plugin blah 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 blah. Found another bug. Oh no, John. Another 5 days wasted. On Wayland, the compositor moves the application window to the front whenever it receives mouse focus, hiding all plugin windows. Okay. Focus stealing. Retake focus. Is there like an API? Wait, let's see changes. Let's quickly look over the proposed. Oh yeah, here it is, the XML. GitLab. All right, let's see what interfaces as zone item, opaque descriptor for blah blah blah. Get frames. Request the extents of the frame bordering and items content. Let's see focus. No focus, like active. Huh? Active not found. Position failed. Position. This event notifies the client of the current position of the item relative to the zone. But I guess it requests the position of the item relative to the zone. Set position. Item leaving the zone. Maybe something like this. Moved an item surface out of a smaller zone boundaries. Having joined the zone. No, this is unrelated. This doesn't waste it. It's just an hour. It's fine. Focus. Yeah, no, okay, this is unrelated. Writing Wayland compositor much harder. How do you get P of the currently focused window? Like, this is, like, I like this question because, you know, like, this is such a simple thing to ask for, right? I just want to know which program is currently focused. And if you know Linux, you'll be like, yeah, bro, like, let's drink to that. Let's actually see that. Set window focus callback. What do they do? Where's the GitHub? GLFW set window focus callback. Focus mentioned. Let's go. Callbacks. Oh shit, window.callbacks. Let me do, how do you, okay, Wayland. No, GLFW, there's like a SRC, Cocoa platform Wayland. Oh, they also use, they also switched to XKB Common. You see, Leonte, like everybody is switching to XKB Common. I unironically think that this is a good thing because, like, finally Linux people agree on something. 10 days. No, John. Wayland. WL monitor, WL init, WL win. Okay, let's see this. Focus. GLW focus window Wayland. Okay. Wait, Nuno said something. You know why I never got to put in time to get Arc to work on in Linux GUI? Oh, excuse me. Because there's no way to open generically a folder. It requires user to have some installed utility. Yeah, because like it's just like, right, because Linux is a kernel and there are like many different GUI toolkits, and like there is no such thing as Linux file picker, right? Because what do you mean Linux file picker? Some people have GNOME operating system. They use like GNOME file picker. Some people use like KDE. Some people use like Sway, Hyperland, whatever. But actually Wayland has this. Like Wayland does have it. So Wayland has a portals, and portals have an API for file pickers. Do they not? So I think if you create a native Wayland application, you can call a unified, like, basically you do a unified function call to ask the compositor for a default file picker, and it will just pick one. So I think on Wayland it is finally possible, unless I am being an idiot and missing something up. Yeah. But other than that, you basically require Zenity, right? So, sorry for the distraction, like just real quick. Yeah, XDG, you can do XDG open, but you can't like guarantee it. The portals are over dbus. Are they? Like, yeah, you can do Zenity. Zenity is a command line utility that you just say Zenity open file picker and it just knows what is installed. But it's a third-party requirement. You can, I guess, ship it together with your program. XDG open is as well, like, I think you need something like inode, right? Like something that registers as like inode thing will open folders. Oh yeah, file chooser. Yeah, Leon, thanks. That's what I was talking about. Like, so desktop portals have that on Wayland. I mean, back in the days, you would often have a situation where XDG open, like XDG MIME types wouldn't be like configured correctly, and so you would get fucked. But I think these days it's always fine. And wait, Simeon says like, it's about lib input on FreeBSD on BSD. They will agree. I see. Nice one, Patrick. You weren't super diligent about it in the past, and it paid off. It's always like great feeling. For supporting containerized apps, I see. I thought portals, because I never used Flatpak in my life, so I didn't know it's not for Wayland. But yeah, I guess to answer your question, Nuno, yes. Well, it's not really a question, but anyway, there is a way to uniformly call a file picker on Linux. And yeah, this way kind of sucks, but I mean, there is a way. So I mean, not that like it sucks necessarily, because right, it's still like a single kind of procedure call, but it's just like, oh my god, like, why do you need to even think about such things as a fucking... Yeah, XDG open is not guaranteed, but I mean, nothing is guaranteed, right? Because it's just like a different, because different desktops have different stuff implemented, right? But like you really shouldn't worry about it, but you have to. Focus. I want focus. Let's see, XDG activation token. Oh, so there is a thing. Activation token. So they did this. It literally exists now? What is this? GDK? No. Wayland protocol viewer. What was the site? Wayland Explorer, yeah. Just get back here. Where's the fucking search? Where's the search? Where is the search? Like, there was a search. Am I like stupid? Am I fucking stupid, chat? Where dark mode? I don't know how to enable dark mode here, sorry. Turn the lights on. Okay, Wayland up. Side colon. What the fuck? Okay. Okay, XDG activation protocol. Where was it added? It's in staging. So is it like recent? Where was it added? 2023. Fuck me. It's recent. It's like literally a year ago. Like where was it committed? Fuck my sweet butthole. 1 year ago, July 5th. It was added after I looked into it. I was looking into it like at the beginning of 2023 or like at the end of 2022, and there was no such thing. So it was literally added recently, and I guess now it's implemented. So all this time I thought it doesn't exist anymore. Not anymore, it doesn't exist yet. Damn. So this means that I can now implement a native Wayland version. How cool is that? It means that shipping my program is delayed by another year, of course, because I can't ship it without native Wayland version. And everyone... GameScope doesn't have it. GameScope doesn't implement it. Do I care? I mean, I probably do. Hey Stacks, what are you working on? Just discovered that people do coding on Twitch. Yeah, I'm working on this program. Yeah, GameScope has only one child window, that's correct. But can I detect it though? And I guess I can like quickly demonstrate what like the program I'm working on, right? So this is how the program looks like. Oh shit. Oh, I grabbed my mouse. Okay. So this situation is, yeah, okay. So this is how the program looks like, and it's basically a glorified key remapper, right? And it like, if you're familiar with gaming keyboard, they have a functionality that lets you do like a perfect turnarounds in like Counter-Strike or Valorant. Yeah, and this program does the same thing without you needing to buy an expensive keyboard, right? So I have a profile set for Hollow Knight. So when I focus Hollow Knight, my program activates, and here I'm holding A and I'm pressing D while holding A, and I'm getting these like frame perfect turnarounds, right? So that's basically it. And I can override two buttons. So like a socd logic, I can set them to neutral. I can remap one to the other. Like here, I mapped U to escape. So if in game, I'm pressing U button now, escape gets outputted, right? Yeah, Constantinus, basically. It's like the default functionality. Let me, it's like, so now I will remove A and D, or rather I can set them to neutral, right? So I'm holding A, I'm pressing D, the character stops. And this is usually the default behavior in video games, right? I release A and now D is getting hold. Yeah. A lot of people have like HK scripts or like something like that, but yeah, this program does it. Essentially. Yeah. That is basically it. So and now, what path? So okay, this actually this is a great news. This is very good news that I can finally implement focused window detection in Wayland, which means that my program will be natively like will have an ability to be a native Wayland application after all these years. Thank you very much, whoever pointed it out. Was it Constantinus? I think so. Right? Yes. Thank you, Constantinus. Constantitus. Yeah, not Constantinus. My program not introduce input lag. I mean, in theory, right? Because now I do some logic here in the like I do some logic here, right? So I'm like detecting whether I'm setting a binding. So like I'm getting a name for the key, right? I'm like here's like an if-else condition I have here, then another if-else condition, right? And if so, I inject additional input. So yeah, I mean thank you for pointing me out that this protocol exists now, that I can actually implement it in Wayland. That's pretty cool. But yeah, theoretically it does introduce some additional lag, right? I think in practice it doesn't matter because this all happens very fast. Yeah, I see. Yeah, I really didn't know that the protocol exists. Yeah, I like, as I said, I searched for it like a year and a half ago, or where was it, 2024? Yeah, so it's like I searched it I think at the beginning of 2023, and there wasn't such thing, there wasn't such protocol, and I just abandoned Wayland. It's cool that it is added and now is implemented. What the coolest project you've done in your opinion? The coolest project? I think this is the coolest project I'm currently doing. This is probably the coolest project I'm working on. I've never worked on something like this involved. Yeah, the irony. So yeah. Do I implement this shit myself or do I rely on lib input? I think I need to rely on lib input because of the quirks situation, mostly. Like even if I implement everything myself, if somebody uses one of those chatty keyboards or chatty controllers, I'm just not gonna be able to work around that because it's just too much manpower, right? I can multiplex by hand and all that, but like good luck chasing every like faulty USB driver. It's just not something I can do. So yeah, I'm thinking lib input. Any objections? I also like how it's an hour and a half and I actually haven't done anything. We were talking about editors and color schemes and VS Code and Wayland, and the only thing I got done is I obtained information. Well, I mean on stream, off stream I actually did something. I emailed my patches to GetRec dropdown. I don't know if John will accept them or not, because, you know, maybe some changes are like a bit controversial. But yeah, so let's I guess see the lib input. Let's see lib input situation. Okay, I don't need this, don't need this. I might leave this one for later, so I can... Although, I mean, I can find it. So this, and okay. Lib input. Yeah. I have this kind of situation because when I unfocus the game, my program doesn't know it. Because, you know, it doesn't support Wayland, so I need to refocus it so it doesn't mess my typing up. Lib input tutorial. I have it opened somewhere, like I opened it a long time ago. Oh yeah, hello. And the lib input tutorial documentation. I know that since this is a free desktop documentation, it's probably bad. I see you also have focus. This is like my compositor does it. So it's like an implementation detail of my compositor. Yeah, I have focus on hover. It's just a default behavior of i3 and sway. It's just something I got used to. I mean, because it makes sense, right? I switch between windows. Sorry for the flashbang. And I want the window to get focused without having to click on it. Alright, so I expect this documentation to not be very good, but let's see. Lib input is library, we know that. Please use the sidebar to navigate, API documentation. Next. I know what it is, what lib input is not. Lib input and Wayland and Xorg, device types, mice, keyboards. It doesn't do controllers, right? Huh. It doesn't do controllers, does it? I also have lib input source code open somewhere, so here it is. Doesn't GitLab have a dark theme? I thought so. I thought it has, but maybe not. Yeah, I remember I was looking at how libinput does dispatching. It also does it through repo. Yeah, it was. I was like reading libinput source code a while ago to see how it works. Let's just search for DualSense and see maybe they handle controllers. No, controller. They do. You see, that's what I was talking about. HP Stream X360's embedded controller filters out its built-in keyboard. No, it's like, yeah. Or like PlayStation. Sony. So it has like a Sony Vaio. Huh. PlayStation. Does it have PlayStation quirks? Does it have PlayStation? No. Okay, I mean they mention it in the README somewhere. Xbox issues. Doesn't correct Xbox controller, recognizes other controllers. Yeah, so it seems like they handle controllers, right? Improved joystick gamepad detection. PlayStation 3. Yeah, seems like they do something. Oh, GitLab is so slow. Okay, yeah. So libinput handles joysticks. Joystick, the stick of joys as well. It's default on Hyperland and I didn't like it. I mean, it is controversial. I just got used to it. From way back in the day, so I don't mind it. Like, I honestly don't mind either, but I just got used to it, so it's fine for me. ClickPath, libinput feature, spam detection. Where's the API? Button debouncing. Bro. Where's the build instructions? I shouldn't probably ship libinput. I should probably rely on the system's provided one, right? It means I will need to create bindings to libinput. Huh. Excuse me. You know, so I have a thing. So I have a repository on GitHub that I maintain. It's called Jai on Linux. Here it is. It's like a bunch of bindings for Linux stuff for Jai. I had to generate like input IOCTL and uinput so I can handle inputs, and I guess I will have to do libinput as well. It has a bunch of stuff, X11 mostly, but also XKB common, and now this. So I guess we'll have to create libinput bindings first. Let's close that. I really don't like that free desktop uses Meson for building all of its stuff, like Ninja and Meson. build, conditional builds, building against lib input. What is this? Ah, it's building against lib input. Next, please. Where is programmer's API? Brother. Is lib input required for well? And technically no, but for your case, probably. I mean, it is required. Reporting bugs. Brother. API documentation. Link to the API documentation, everybody. Great. How am I supposed to use this garbage? Lib input programmer documentation. Here it is. Let me open it in the new Python lib input. What the fuck is this? Lib input for fun and profit. What's that? Someone's blog. Configuring touchpad tap and sway. Ah, it's not like Kotlin. Okay, I see. Where's Jai? There's no Jai. Not interested. What's that? Lib input library. It's some kind of a fork of, yeah, it seems like it's like a fork of lib input or something. Or some plugin, I don't know. Okay, lib input API. And it's probably some Doxygen auto-generated stuff, right? Concept. Lib input provides two different backends, udef and path, where device addition, device removal need to be handled by the caller, where notifications about new and removed devices are provided by udef. Hey Predict, thank you. Welcome. Does it mean I need udef as well? Like libudef, this thing? Like libudef is basically a thin wrapper around the thing I'm using directly. Like libudef is, it's just like a small wrapper. I wouldn't particularly mind depending on it if I have to, but I wouldn't want to if I... Maybe lib input depends on it, so I have to. We'll see. Dependencies, fuck me. You know what? I think I need tea or coffee to get through this. I think I need a heavy beverage, heavy as in hot, but non-alcoholic. So now I will put you something dark so I don't blind you. Put the BRB, and I'm gonna go brew myself something hot because I definitely won't be able to dig through the documentation just like that. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, my kettle is brewing. Oh, what the fuck, my camera is off focus. What's up, people? How are you doing? How is your 2025? Do you enjoy it so far? Yo, Jumpy, hello, hello. Okay. My webcam is cooked. Yep, now it's fine. Did you go through the entire how to folder to learn Jai? Actually, I did. At some point I did. First it helped me to learn the language, and also it is very entertaining. Like John approach how to as he approaches game design. So it's not just a documentation, it is a fucking quest. Yeah, it is like a treasure chest. You don't even think about it as a tutorial, as like technical documentation. It feels like something a game designer designed, you know? Yeah, it's like a storyline for sure. We can actually read something from Jai how to folder. How about that? Let me pour myself a drink and we'll take a little break like that. Apollo time, yeah, Apollo time is great. Hey Tab or Space, that's a nice nickname on YouTube. Can you explain metaprogramming for someone who hasn't been working on it before? Like in general or in Jai? I mean, in general, metaprogramming is just when you program the program itself. You know, you write code that affects the code that you execute. That's basically what meta in metaprogramming stands for. That's basically the gist, right? My favorite is Temperance. I think it's in how-tos. Yeah. No, not this one. Was it 99? Oh, it's... I think I miss... So yeah. This one. This one is great. Eventually this will be a full piece, but for now, here are notes. As this is being written in 2021, the biggest problem is that there is far too much code in existence, and that this code is in aggregate does far too little useful work relative to how large and complicated it is. This is a major source of low productivity, and it is a major reason why software is so unreliable. For some reason, as an industry, we got crazy. We decided that just in order to run programs on a computer, tens of millions of lines of code should be required. And you should be exposed to the bugs and the performance impacts of all that code. For more background on this, see Casey Muratori's talk, The 30 Million Line Problem. This is a great talk, highly recommend if you haven't watched it. If we had, let me actually drop it in the chat, like here. This is like a great talk. I'll drop it in YouTube as well. If we had half as much code, every programmer would have twice as much time to write, test, debug, iterate, and improve the structure of the code they write. At the time of this writing, the compiler for this language is about 55,000 lines of code, not counting comments and white spaces. I think now it's about 100K, 100,000 lines of code, isn't it? If I recall, like, I remember John like counted recently. It was either 70,000 lines or like 100,000 lines. Not counting the original source code for the 1993 video game Doom was also about 55,000 lines. Unclear if this counts comments and white spaces. It probably does. Do some code spelunking to figure it out. Whereas, I don't know how to read this word. Whereas the compiler is likely to continue to grow, we will try our best to constrain its growth. But as it stands today, there is some kind of existence proof. By the time your program is in the neighborhood of 50,000 lines, it should probably provide a large amount of interesting and novel functionality. Novel, I don't know. If it doesn't, perhaps it's time to ask questions. Please try to write code that is small and that does a lot for its size. Please, after you finish writing something, ask yourself whether you are satisfied with how robust it is and with how much it gets done for how much code there is. Insufficient documentation leads to things being done inefficiently, sometimes incredibly inefficiently. Thousands of lines of code instead of 10-line tweak because someone doesn't know what something was built with a certain purpose in mind. Transfer of tacit knowledge is incredibly important. If tacit knowledge about the code base is lost, ability to work on it at the same level of quality is lost. Over time, code quality will decline as code size grows. Tacit knowledge is very hard to recover by looking at maze of code, and it takes a long time to do so. Sub-essay here. Code should not try to meet every need anyone might ever have. Hello, Emacs! Overgeneralization leads to bloat and poor functionality. Specialization is good in many cases. Think about the guy with the truck full of automotive tools who has a bunch of different wrenches. One reason we have endless bloat is that we teach that all code should expand until it meets all needs. This is wrong, empirically, and we should stop teaching it. To add, a section about not overusing compile time execution. Speaking of metaprogramming, right? Is it possible to get foreign function from JavaScript into Jai? Jai has WASM support. So yeah, I mean, it is possible if you compile to WASM. So yeah, this is a beautiful note. And it's like a how-to file, right? So it's like, there is no code. It's just some knowledge, some wisdom. This is so good. I think a lot of what John and Casey say is true, but I come from the world they talk about, web dev. Me too, I'm a web developer professionally, like full-time. I think there is a lot of strawman going on in their tone too. Yes, there are a lot of issues in web dev and there are lots of tools to manage them. But that's because we operate in a very limited env that is the browser. The browser acts as a virtual OS where we don't control memory, threading, security, but are expected to ship larger and larger programs with consistency. I know what you're talking about. I wouldn't call it strawman. And like you are in like I disagree with you in general. Like I know what you're talking about, but I disagree because, you know, you're kind of like looking at the web browser as a source of truth. You know, it's just like, okay, we just have a browser, this is how it should be done. Like, in my opinion, browsers are part of the problem. Like, sure, we are left to deal with it, right? We have to deal with it because, okay, this is what got standardized. But, like, in my opinion, browsers themselves should be simpler. Like, they should provide smaller API surface. Like, if we take web specs, they're just insane, right? Like the ECMAScript and CSS specs, they're just fucking bonkers. And they don't try to they don't try to improve the technology too. You know, okay, CSS is missing some functionality, and the way they attribute that is they just add junk to CSS until it becomes a Turing complete language, right? It's supposed to be like a simple thing that lets you position rectangles on the screen, but now it has fucking division operators and variables and loops. And instead of, you know, just subloading all of this functionality to JavaScript and just saying, okay, this is the way to do it now, you know, as UI requirements get bigger, you have a full procedural control over styling, but no, they will overload CSS instead. So browsers and the web platform is definitely a part of the problem. Like they contribute to the issue that he's talking about here. So I totally on board with them when they shit on web developer, because it's fully deserved in my opinion. Like, browsers are miraculous pieces of technology, but in my opinion for the wrong reason. It's not only that, it's stuff like animations are now defined in CSS, right? Like, what the fuck? So you like, CSS is like declarative, but you have this imperative chunks in it, which is like, and they're supposed to be cascading, right? It's cascading style sheets, but the modern best practices in writing CSS is to avoid cascading as much as you can. Like in modern web dev, if you do cascading, you get fired. Because like it is very slow, it is very confusing, like it leads to dead styles all over the place. So all modern CSS approaches, they just avoid cascading. You just write all the styles in line in one way or the other. So like an entire piece of spec, an entire like layer of complexity that was carefully designed by some committee that like never wrote a piece of software in their life, it just gets avoided by real programmers because it's impossible to deal with. Right? Like, it just evolved. But the way it evolved is just, you know, instead of throwing it away and saying, okay, you know, don't use CSS anymore, like, use this. Instead, they're trying to overload it more and more. This is exactly what this talk is about, the 30 million line problem. Because CSS started as a very simple way to color like and position a rectangle. And it grew and grew and grew and grew to the point where it's just impossible to comprehend anymore. Yeah. I mean, Casey actually talks about solution here. The solution is... I mean, his solution is basically throw the shit away and start over. You know, go back to Monkey. right? Get the control over the hardware. I know it's idealistic, and but I mean, like, what else can you do? I mean, OpenGL, Vulkan, they're like John and Casey, they always talk how bad graphics API is, and I actually fully agree with them. Have you heard of Orca? Orca is like an attempt to make web simpler. It's like a WASM runtime, cross-platform WASM runtime. And WASM 64, I encountered an issue where exporting a function that returns a string. Instead of a string, it appears as a big int when I load it with console log. How can I convert it to... I actually don't know that tabler space. I've never done anything like that with WASM. But yeah. I mean, conceptually web is simple, but like conceptually it's simple, right? You open URL, you get back some pixels on your screen. But in practice, in practice, modern web development includes a lot of complications. And I mean, you know that because, you know, you work on web. Like the way people do front end these days is just batshit crazy. Call of Duty code base will be simple. Fuck no. If you mean Call of Duty, no, it won't be simple. It will be fucking hard. But it does so much more things that a simple, like, you know, than a website. But I mean, Call of Duty has to run at like 165 FPS per second over a multiplayer. There is no web application in the world that can do that. Like you open GitHub and it like takes billion years to navigate. Yeah, Google is a good example. Google is very fast. I totally agree. Like Google is a great piece of like Google is shit now, but I mean, you know, at its prime it was amazing. And all the billions it earned, it totally deserved. So does Call of Duty, right? Call of Duty also works over the network. And yet, 30 people on a map at 200 frames per second. You know. I mean, no, it's 30 people per map, but there's like 2 million players playing simultaneously, you know, like on the server. I mean, maybe there are probably multiple servers, but you know, the servers are loaded. No, I mean, if you open like SteamDB and you look at Marvel like Rivals, you will see that 500,000 people are playing it right now, you know, and they're playing at 200 like frames per second. So no, it's like, you know, this is like these are excuses. There is no excuse over why GitLab is so slow, like GitHub is so slow compared to like Call of Duty, other than the fact that it's written in Ruby on Rails, you know, on the backend. But I mean, you brought Call of Duty, so I'm using Call of Duty because you brought it up. So like, I totally understand where you're coming from, you know? I totally understand where you're coming from. I understand that it like sucks to hear this, right? Because I mean, you're doing your best, but you can't really escape. Like, you can't say to your boss, like, you know, we're gonna use WebGL for our next project because I want to make it I want to make it performant. Your boss will just fucking fire you. Like, I know where you're coming from. You can't really do anything about it. So you have to work kind of in a set of restrictions that are imposed to you, right? I have to write backend in Python. Like, because it's like 7-year-old code base in Python. Like, you know, it's like 300,000 lines of Python. What are you gonna do? Not necessarily single-threaded. There are worker threads, so they support multi-threaded execution. It's just hard to set up, you know. Hey Helton 007, hello. Just like silent ellipses in the chat. Okay. So yeah, I mean, most of the shit happens in the main thread, but you definitely can have multi-threading in the browser. It definitely supports that. It's just harder to spawn a thread in the browser. That's actually, so things like that is why I was so high on top of Bezos, true. Actual text amount displayed is very small. Hey, Fear of Code, hello. I've seen you somewhere, like your nickname sounds familiar. I definitely saw you somewhere else in other chats. Welcome. Yeah, I mean, it's mostly excuses, right? Those are like, I totally understand where you're coming from, because it's literally impossible to escape the bloat commercially, unless you own, you know, the product that you work on. And it's very hard, right? Like, Casey tried to ship Code Galaxy. Do you remember that? Like, Code Galaxy went nowhere because Casey figured that he couldn't make it commercially successful, right? I think he was working on making like the platform itself like available for licensing, and I remember he was like struggling with web technologies. He was kind of enthusiastic about WASM, probably before he realized that it's like cocked at 32 bits. It was cocked at 32 bits at the time. So like, you know, it's very hard to escape the bloat. And I was very hyped about WASM when it got introduced, because it sounded like such a finally, you know, something that simplifies situation in web. Like small, very small, I don't know, call it spec set of features, small like like virtual machine. That is very easy to implement and works in the browser. Holy shit. And then they cucked it by making it 32 bits only at first. And even more, you can't access DOM from WASM. Like, what the fuck? What? So you still need JavaScript to make WASM work in the browser. So they didn't make it a first-class citizen. They make it something you can offload part of your execution towards. So WASM it's kind of a, you know, it's like a ruined orgasm in a sense. But now WASM 64 will be enabled by default in, I guess, all browsers you care about. So it's great. So it's at least something. I try to be aware that most software is shit while also not getting fired from my Java day job. Relatable, relatable. Same. My problem is that I have very high tolerance for bullshit. Because, you know, I worked in, like my entire career, I worked in outsource. And I just, I just learned to deal with code bases of like basically any sort of any like kind of bad. Like I just don't care anymore of how bad the code is, like how poorly it performs. And this is like actually pretty bad for me because I often just can't realize that something that I write is also complicated for no reason. And I have to be very conscious about it. Because I can easily introduce complexity where it's not needed. Just because it's part of my fucking DNA now. So I need to be self-aware about it. Okay, I think I'm good now. I can switch back to boring programming. Like I turned on the viewer count and we have a lot of viewers because I'm ranting about stuff and yapping and not actually programming. I know that as soon as I switch to documentation, it will drop in half. Cheers. Happy New Year, people. Source of controversy. I mean, I understand you, you know. I relate. I empathize. I respect people who try to do a good job a lot. I'm also like trying my best, you know. I mean, I kind of disagree with it. Like, like business might not, it might not entirely work on a performance, but performance is certainly a killer feature, right? Like, I definitely believe that performance is a killer feature. And Casey had a talk, right? I think someone performance excuses debunked or something like that. Why are there almost no good native UI libraries that are easy to style? I guess it depends on your definition of easy, right? Everything is easy when you get used to it, right? So do you mean like it's like verbose or something is impossible to achieve, or maybe API is bad, or like why Web 1? No, Web 1 because all you need to do is open the browser and type in a URL, because you don't need to download software and have viruses. That's the reason why Web 1. That's literally the only reason. Yes, because it is easy to use. All you need to do is download Google Chrome, open the URL, press enter. Here you have an application. You don't have to download it and potentially get a virus. You don't need to like install it and, you know, potentially fuck up your system. Right? It's just easier to install. Right? If we yes, noob mind, exactly. Hello. On any operating system too, right? It's cross-platform because it is easy to use. It's not easier to develop for, not necessarily, right? Like you might say that, okay, CSS, HTML, and JavaScript is just easier than native UI. But it's like, it's not really. It's maybe easier because you learned it, you know? Like there are stuff that is very hard to do with CSS and JavaScript. And you have to go through a lot of hacks to make it work. Right? Like making performant web UIs is incredibly hard because DOM is such a slow, so slow inherently. But yeah, web won because it is easy to use. Because it's just like, it's very it's a very good distribution platform. That's why it's won. Like people started developing web application because it was a convenient distribution, because the platform was very convenient for distribution. It's not like, oh, it's so easy to develop for web, that's why we will develop on web, right? It's like, no, it's kind of, it's like, it's the opposite. It's the opposite way around. Yeah, the consumer gets value faster. That's why it's so important to allow to ship a single executable, right? So you don't have an installation process. You download an executable, you run it, the program works. Yay, Leonte. I mean, you can't dethrone Steam, but you know, Epic Games, they had a decent chance. I mean, Epic Games actually had a decent value proposition for developers, right? Okay, you will have a better fees if you publish on our platform, but their launcher is a piece of shit. So, right? I mean, the users tried to use it. It's not like nobody cared about Epic Store, right? Oh, free games, right? The happy developers, and people tried to use their launcher, but it's shit. Because it's written in Unreal Engine. Who fucking writes desktop applications in Unreal Engine? Like, seriously? There, like, when they released it, there wasn't even like a cart, a shopping cart. But there is Lego authentication method. You can log in through your Lego account, but there was no shopping cart. Like, what the fuck? Go figure. Like, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, Epic Games had a decent shot at getting a good chunk of market. Like, of course they wouldn't dethrone Steam. You know, like, they would have gotten like maybe like 10%. But I think they actually got cucked by the performance of their application. Like, their software was just shit. Their value proposition was probably great. But, you know, shit software, people don't want to use it. Good Old Games actually did a great thing. Instead of trying to fight Steam, they found a market. You know, we won't compete with Steam, but we will sell games without DRM, which is a completely different value proposition. their desktop application was also a piece of shit, but it wasn't a part of their product. Their product was the fact that you can buy a game, download it, and it's yours forever. And they also made sure the games work, right? They would package old game with DOSBox. They would configure that it runs on like Windows 10, whatever. So they just found a market. But Epic, in my opinion, they just fumbled. They fumbled. And now, I don't want to say that it's too late for them, but I think they just don't care that much. Right? Like, until Fortnite kind of feeds them, they probably won't bother with improving stuff. Or the improvement will be at such a slow pace that it's like, that it doesn't really matter. While Steam also gets improved, right? It's not like Steam stays in place. I mean, Steam is also kind of slow, but it works decently and it has a lot of features, like very useful ones. Like, dare I say it, Valve deserves their monopoly status. Dare I say it. I'm very anti-monopoly person, but, you know, Steam is like, they kind of deserve it. Is it stagnant? I mean, I don't think so. I don't think it's stagnant, right? Like, the Proton stuff is relatively recent. You can now stream on Steam, also relatively recent. Stuff like family sharing, all this crap. So yeah, I wouldn't call it stagnant. Like VR stuff, Steam input, it also wasn't like a thing years ago. Okay, yeah, I feel like I'm rested. I feel like I yapped enough. I feel full of energy. Oh. I can finally dive in and read libinput documentation. I feel it. Okay. I think I'm gonna do this so we don't get flashbanged. So we don't get flashbanged all the way. We will just get like half flashbanged. How about that? I feel like it's a nice compromise. Okay. Let's go. Lib input. Different backends. UDEF and path. What the fuck is path backend? Path create context. Construct libinput interface user data. Create a new libinput context that requires the caller to manually add or remove devices with. I see. So this basically means I handle the detection myself and libinput handles an actual input, right? So I can still have this logic that I wrote and libinput handles the rest. And UDEF backend? This context is inactive until assigned a seed with libinput, using context from UDEF. How does it work? Okay, pointer to struct UDEF. What is this struct UDEF? What's that? Until assigned a seed ID. What the fuck is this? Assign a seed to this libinput. New devices or removal of existing will appear as events during libinput dispatch. UDEF assign seed succeeds even if no blah 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 blah. Some kind of a seating situation. And this doesn't have that. Yeah. Okay. What is... Let's look at the UDEF backends. Let's open this. Let's go here. Already initialized UDEF. What is a UDEF context? Like, It's one of those Linux documentations that's like, you just... Maybe tutorial has it? UDEV? Yes, I think UDEV means libudev. Struct UDEV new. Yep. I'm pretty sure this is libudev. Yeah, UDEV create. Okay, yeah. So as I kind of suspected, this path that gives you automation also requires to link with UDEV. I think I have libudev, right? How do we do that? Like, no, it's not udev.h. How they man libudev. Libudev. Yeah, you see, I have libudev installed on this computer. I wonder if it comes as a dependency from installing libinput on Arch. It's libudev.h, okay. IPA to introspect and enumerate devices on the local system. Should not be used in new projects. This library is supported but should not be used in new projects. And libinput fucking depends on it. Linux! I'm sorry for yelling in the microphone. I understand that for majority of people it's just a background context with me mumbling, so I will try to not make sudden loud noises as far as I can control myself. Yeah, all functions require libudev context. This context can be created via udev new. It is used to track library state. All functions require libudev context to operate. This context can be created via udev new. It is used... I just read this paragraph. All functions listed here are thread agnostic, and only a single specific thread may operate on a given object during its entire lifetime. Okay, so it basically says that you need a udev context per thread. Right, so okay. We probably also need libudev then. Oh, and it's one of those documentation that's just like straight up auto-generated by Doxygen or whatnot. Right, it's like not a tutorial, it's just raw API. Like no code examples, no nothing. Yikes. Yikes. It's one of those situations where I would have to look at like WL root source code or KDE source code, or just straight up use like ChatGPT to give me examples or something. Yikes, dude. Let's look at this tutorial. So what do they do here? Tutorials libinput.c. Process event, open, restricted, close. Okay, main. So they create the udev context, then they create libinput context providing the udev stuff. Then assign seed. Cannot assign, like what the fuck is seed? You know, it's like, oh, I don't know. Then we create XKB context. Okay, this one I have already. create a key map, all right, state key map, while one struct, get fd, poll, lib input dispatch, right, event, while event, process event. And what does event do? Process event, it gets the event type, it dispatches on the type, right, pointer motion, event pointer motion, else if event pointer button, keyboard key, okay, get x, get y, pointer motion event, pointer button event, lib input key, state pressed, get the key name, destroy. This is actually a nice example. What is open restricted? What is an interface? Oh, you need to provide function pointers for opening and closing the file descriptors. Right? Yeah. This is actually a very concise and nice tutorial. Let me try to compile it and see if it works. cd projects, mkdir lib input test, cd lib input test, and vim lib input.c paste, and then this motherfucker gcc and lib input, enter. Okay, pointer event, pointer button event, and key. The key S was pressed. Let's do it here. The key was pressed. The key U plus 0020 got pressed. 9. This one. It doesn't detect right shift. It does not detect right shift, by the way. But why? Right control also, right alt, no, space. Oh, it doesn't detect modifiers. It just straight up doesn't detect modifiers. But it is a nice example that compiles. And you see, this music is too intense. Okay, I think it's done. So, you see how long it takes to quit this program, right? I'm pressing Control C, 1. Okay, now it was just a second. But I assume if I use a lot of devices, like I type here, I press here, right? I'll do a lot of stuff. I'm also, oh, look at that. Wouldn't you look at that? My keypad doesn't get recognized. Oh no, okay, it recognizes when I press when I enable it. Like this one, right? It gets. Okay, yeah, it sort of works. It just doesn't recognize arrows. And now when I try to close it, it will take some time. So Control C, 1, it's like a second. It's actually quite faster than I expected. Because I expected to hold like a bunch of file descriptors or something. I guess it doesn't do that because it does not, it's not grab, yeah, in this case it's not grabbing the device, but I will grab it. It also, maybe it also like closes the file descriptors in background. Ta-dum-dum. This is a very nice example. Eyelash, let me give a star. This is like amazing. It's 5 years old, 10 years old, but it's just wow. Wow. Where's the lib input file? Oh yeah, here it is. I love people like that, you know? It's just like code with no bullshit that compiles first try. Small minimalistic example that is very useful. Is just oh, my respect goes to the eyelash. Yeah. Brary not. Amazing emote. But you know what we have to do? The people of the chat, we need to create bindings to lib input. What is the, it's libinput.h. Where is it? It's user include libinput.h. Jonas Udahal, Red Hat, Incorporated. Yes. Wait, libinput just depends on libudef unconditionally? Just straight up include? What the fuck? So even if I don't use udef code path, it insists that libudef is installed. This is wild. Like, their documentation presents, you know, it as an alternative, right? Like, okay, you can use libudef, you might not use it, but if you open the header, like, fuck you, you have to have it installed even if you're not using it. I disapprove. Even though libudef itself is very small, but why would you do that? Like, libudef itself, look at that. It is very small. It's 200 lines, right, of API service. It's like a bunch of calls, but... And I looked at the source code of libudef. It is small, but... But its manual literally says don't use it in new projects. I guess libinput is all project. Let me open the libudef source code. I guess I will have to create bindings for it as well. Libudef. Here it is, yeah, because I also... Why is it on GitHub? Shouldn't it be like on... Oh, this is probably a systemd mirror, right? It's like probably a mirror or something. Or is systemd officially hosted on GitHub? I didn't know that. I didn't know that. This is new information for me. So libudef. I thought libudef is hosted on GitLab, like, separately. Does systemd just include it? Just, like, vendors it or not? Google open source. Libudef. Yeah, where is the official libudef hosted? Mailing list, Git repository. Yeah, it's on free desktop. I guess systemd just vendors it in. I mean, maybe if systemd vendors it, then we can as well. Just like, don't depend on it, I guess. Oh, no, it's part of systemd. So free desktop systemd 3 src libudef, libudef. Oh, wait, what is like the difference between udef and libudef? I am so confused right now. So there's libudef, and then there's just udef. Udef is this like fucking... Is the diamond, yeah. Yeah, it's the one that like with the rules and shit, like permissions for devices, like assigning device event numbers and stuff like that. Yeah, I got confused because in my brain I mixed libudef, libfdev. That's why I'm so confused, because I thought that this is this. This is a small wrapper around the kernel input API. And that's why I thought that it's fucking redundant, because this libfdev, this one does nothing. It's just like wrapper. Like this one does nothing. Basically. I confused these two. It makes sense why this one is a part of systemd, because udef is a systemd kind of subsystem. And that's why I didn't want to... systemd is not true. So I'm kind of familiar with this code a little bit, because I read it at some point. I mean, skimmed it. Right, here it is, like... How big it is, actually. Feels like hardware database. So, Ilionte, if you're here, because you're more familiar than me with this stuff, depending on udef, does it mean that I depend on systemd technically? Like, there are like distributions without systemd, right? Like Gentoo can be deployed without systemd, and you know, stuff like Geeks, GNU Geeks, and like Void Linux. They often avoid systemd, and Artix Linux. Do they ship udef separately, or they just use something else? Do you happen to know? Like, yeah, I know you used to use Gentoo. It does ship udef. Oh, so udef is just an interface. It's not like, it's not their proprietary stuff. Right. It's kind of absorbed udef. But systems that are not based on systemd, they still have udef. Like, they just ship it separately from systemd. Because, I mean, that's what they do with seat management, right? With like kind of login stuff. I forgot what it's called. It's also like lib something something. You can have udef standalone. I see, yeah. Okay, and I guess libudef can also be standalone. I can quickly verify it. So Artix Linux udef package on Artix Linux. Artix Linux is Arch without systemd. So here is what it depends on. kbd, kmod, libudef. Okay, let's see libudef on Artix. And let's see its package build. Where is package build? Package build, package build, source files, package build. It has a systemd as a URL and sources, DNSS systemd false. Ah, so it's built without systemd, like without depending on systemd. Let me increase font so you have. So it's like CMake, right? I know it's miss on option, but yeah, they disable systemd here. Like Oblivion OST is just so fucking good. I'm sorry, but I just can't. Just brings me peace, instant peace. A little lore, if you want. Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion is the first video game that I bought for my own money. The money that I've earned myself. I didn't just got them from my parents. Yeah. It was 2006. I just barely got 14. So, and in Russia, when you are 14 years old, like by the power of the law, you are able to be officially employed for not more than 2 hours a day as a 14 years old. And I abused that ability to the most of it. I worked an entire summer in 2006 and I got enough money to buy myself Oblivion, the gold edition, the one that's that went with like a very beautiful like paper map and a t-shirt. And me and my brother, because he couldn't work officially, right? But he kind of helped unofficially because he was just like 13 or 12. I don't remember. I think he was 13. Yeah, so we worked together. And besides Oblivion, we also got enough money for Xbox 360, GTA 4, and Guitar Hero 3. So it was like the best end of summer probably in all my like high school. I never kept count of money earned or gotten from parents. Once they got in my possession, they were mine, period. I mean, yeah, it was a bit more convoluted for us because, you know, we never were like super rich or like, you know, we were never like super broke, but stuff like consoles and, you know, like Guitar Hero, it was just something that, it's not something that they would just, you know, buy. Like they added, because we didn't got enough money to buy it on our own in that summer, but our parents like added a certain amount so we can afford it, you know, to kind of encourage us to use our child labor even further. Yeah. Yeah, use market. I mean, our were brand new, but you couldn't really buy a used Xbox in 2006. And I mean, not where we lived, right? Not where we lived, at least. Yeah. I never owed PS3, PS4, PS5, so Xbox 360 was the last console I owed. I went from PS1 straight to Xbox 360. And of course I always gamed on PC. But yeah, I digress. Sorry, libudev. I want to see package build for libudev. Package build. Dependencies. No systemd. HW data though. I think this is also something from systemd, right? Probably just standalone. Okay, so it seems like this makes me believe you owned a ton of retro consoles. I only owned a pirated Nintendo systems and pirated Sega Genesis. It's like Sega Mega Drive 2. This is what it's called, like, on our market. And Super Nintendo, but it wasn't real Super Nintendo. It was like fake Super Nintendo, where you would have like a cartridge with 999 different like Mario games, with like different gravity and different amount of lives, and different cheats enabled. Build dependencies. Ah, is it? Oh, yeah. It only depends on GCC, glibc, and libcap. Okay, yeah. But anyway, there is like no systemd. Right, so it's like, it's probably disabled somewhere. Yeah, okay. NCRT-TV. Yeah. Oh, you know the shit. I'm so lucky to have you in the chat, actually. So it means that you're in Europe just like me right now. I actually wanted to buy some retro console. I wanted to buy like PS1 and maybe N64 to like play like Zelda for the first time in my life. And I know that PAL sucks. So you can actually buy a console here in Europe and then convert it to NTSC somehow, and it's still gonna work in like local outlets. Do you have like a guide somewhere that I can read? Because I just want to, because you know, growing up as a child, I didn't have like anything, and now my midlife crisis hits like really hard. I'm gonna be 33 in like a month, actually like exactly in a month, on February 3rd. And you know, I'm a fucking stinky nerd, so instead of buying expensive car and fucking all the hookers in the world, I want to buy all the consoles I couldn't afford when I was a kid. And I wanted to like go and get myself like NTSC and TV and like a bunch of consoles, but I don't want to play PAL editions of games. I mean, Leon, I'm Russian. Do you know fucking life expectancy for a Russian man in the far north? It's like 54 years old. I'm way past the half of my expiration date, man. I'm not even joking. Life expectancy for a man in the part of the Russia where I'm from, it's not even 55. So I am entitled for midlife crisis. In the SNES case, power supply part and PAL NTSC standard part are separate. My SNES still has the PAL power part. NTSC PAL conversion on the console side is very console specific. On the Super Nintendo, it's pin on the CPU moved. Oh shit. I mean, I meant, so let's say I can just buy NTSC console, right? So I don't need to modify the console itself. Like, I wonder if I just can buy NTSC console, NTSC like CRT, and like somehow connect it to the PAL power supply here, and it would still like just magically work somehow. Yeah. So like maybe there's some kind of a like adapter / converter that will just do the right thing. You know, give it additional kick or what. PAL TVs do. Oh. So can I just plug it into the like Serbian outlet and tell it do NTSC, motherfucker? That would be crazy. So if that's the case, my SM64 speedrunning arc will officially begin. Tomorrow. I'm joking. Okay, so what we're gonna do right now is we will switch repositories. So it's socd jai on Linux. Generate.jai. This is my bindings generator for a bunch of Linux stuff. It's actually full of shit and I need to clean it up, but yeah, it's 1000 lines of code so far. And I will add lib input here and lib udev. And for now, I will only enable generate for all lib input. Okay. And here I have a bunch of crap, IOCTL input. What's that? Input.h, uinput. Okay, input.h. Okay. Uinput and okay. If generate for and dot lib input and like that, lib input or libudev. Right, this is gonna be libudev.h, and if generate for and lib input, this is gonna be libinput.h. We're fortunate in Europe to have good TVs. In the console output, if the console outputs NTSC, the TV sees that and reacts. Holy shit, that's crazy. We also have SCART as a good RGB standard, so you can DIY a cable for most consoles and have the best video quality. That's crazy. So yeah, I definitely need to do that. So I guess the difficulty will be to actually find NTSC console and cartridge or disc, right? Because like here in Serbia, I can find a lot of retro consoles, but I would assume that majority of them are PAL. And the seller usually doesn't specify that because, I mean, just someone who sells their old shit, right? And pirate ROMs. Not pirate, a second-hand market, you know? Please, Nintendo, don't sue me. Let me just copy-paste this shit. There's like a lot of kind of manual labor here in the bindings, but user include not this, so it's libinput.h, and libinput.h includes libudev.h, and libudev is user include libudev.h, user include libudev.h. This I delete. Continue compile time struct checks. Try to preserve comments. True. Mimic spacing flags. Bindings builder generate bindings. Why does it uses a builder so I can include macros? Does libudev have any kind of macros? I don't see any macros so far. It has a macro. udev list entry for each. Motherfucker, I hate this. It means that I will need to translate this manually. Does libinput use it anywhere? Let me see. Let me open libinput source code. Where is libinput source code, dude? Did I close it? Libinput. I mean, hopefully, I just need to make sure libinput doesn't use it, like, you know, like under the hood or something. Because I thought I didn't need libinput at all if I don't want it. Your code is getting way too dumb. Pretend nothing happened. That is understandable. Where's search? Wait, where's search? Do I don't have... Amazing. UDEV seed, so it does something. You see, it's like it uses it under the hood, right? Oh, have a good night, John. Yeah, it's probably way past the bedtime for you. Dobranoc, something similar, yeah. It's like in Russian we would say spokojnej noci. So it's like peaceful night. In Serbian we would say like laku noc. Pretty much the same thing. You hate your job. I know, from what you're saying, your job seems pretty chill. That's internal to lib input. I don't know, I mean, technically, I don't necessarily care, but it's like, I don't like leaving those holes. I wanted to say, what if someone uses my bindings, but then I realized that the only person that would use my bindings for now, that, like, the only other person I imagined using like my bindings is like you, because we're like, and cute math, we're like the only Linux programmers in the entire Jai beta. Or like, not the only, but we're like loud Linux community in the beta. We are the loud minority that people always talk about. Yeah, so maybe I don't need to translate it right now. I can just place a to do here. Is there something else defined? Okay, there's literally just this macro. Libudev to do. I just overwrote this. Actually, why? I wanted to paste it, but I literally don't need it. Translate udev list entry for each macro. This is the only macro in libudev as shut the fuck up, as far as I can see. So I don't need all of that. Let me see the simple example. Okay, no builders, just result generate bindings. Okay. Wait, is it like opts? Opts and the file name. I just want to like remember how I did it. Huh. Yep. Holy shit, I had to do so many hacks to generate IOCTL macros. I hate it. Okay, so I just need, without logging results, Just this, generate bindings. Like result, that's it. What's the file name? Okay, yeah, let me just copy paste it from here. Let me do it like this. Okay, I don't need this, I need this. User include lib udev.h. I also need a library. I assume it's user lib udev. Okay, it's like user lib udev.so. So it's just udev.so. System library path, system library names, compile time struct no, visitor no, bindings generated, lib udev.jai, result, return result, what's that? Generate library declarations, symbols. I probably don't want to do that. I just want to link against libudev. I think that there is nothing wrong in just directly linking libudev, since you know, lib input unconditionally depends on it, which means that every distro that ships lib input will also ship libudev. So I don't need to like load it, you know, like, does it make sense? I think I don't need it. Maybe I could still provide it like as a function pointers. I mean, I will do this. I mean, there's probably nothing wrong against linking with it, you know? Like this part of the bindings generator generates the function pointer style bindings, you know, that put the function pointers into a struct. So I probably don't need it for libudev. The thing I did for X11 bindings for focus. So you don't have to link against X11 necessarily. But I don't think there's a reason to do that for libudev. So I'll just delete it. Okay, let's see what happens. Compile, and I think it's just jai generated jai. Yes. Generated libudev.jai. Let's see. udev.jai. Okay, here's libudev. Does it look sane to you? I think it looks sane enough, right? Bindings generated. I was yapping so much and now it's like, tum, 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 we have bindings for a C library. Look how easy it is. Maybe it's not as easy as, you know, like C import in Zig, but I mean, C import in Zig basically just does the same thing, but it automates it slightly. Yeah. I don't see just straight up like bullshit here. Yeah, I mean, let's go. Let's do lib input itself. Include lib input.h and lib input.so, I assume. lib in. Oh, there's no lib input. That so. Is it like not? Is it in system there? lib64? Oh yeah, it's in lib64. Okay. System library path lib. Okay, let's do lib64. Let's do this. Hey Lars, greatness. Input? What is the input? Input. I thought I made a typo or something. Okay, lib64 lib input data so false false lib input.jai. Let's do it. Lib let's check lib udef and lib input. Okay. I wrote the typo when I see. Okay. Thanks, Regami. Also welcome. Oh, maybe it's there. It's there, it's literally there. I mean, because lib is a sim link to lib64, right? It should be a sim link. Yeah, thanks people. Thank you. I appreciate it. Generate. Let me do this. Let's actually see. I want to see if there's like some macros I need to. Yeah, there are some macro attribute printf. There are some macros. Lib is not always a symlink, is it not? In there. Huh, I see. Yeah, I have a multi-lib for sure. I see, I didn't know that actually. Define pound fuck, like Vim supposed to be this cool editor, but when you drop to the command mode you literally can't navigate there. Fuck. Define. Okay, so we have a couple macros here. Oh, that's literally it. lib input attribute printf. Attribute format printf format. What's that? What the fuck is this? Dude, stop fat fingering shit. I don't think I need this, right? Can we just eat the 32-bit stuff already? It would have been cool, but you know, a bunch of old games are 32-bit applications, and this is basically the main. This is basically the main use for 32-bit these days, and I guess Raspberry Pi, you know. It tells GCC that format is a string. That should check for printf, like, okay, it's like print like in Jai, right? I see. Okay, I probably don't need it. Right, so does it look... It, I guess... looks somewhat sane. This should be relatively big. It's just 1,000 lines of code, and it's like has space between every one. I wonder where are all the comments? Shouldn't I preserve the comments? Like this. I thought bindings generator tries to preserve the comments as much as it can, and I also want to preserve them. Yeah, preserve comments, right? Wait. Oh, my bad. I should do that globally. Why did it set it to false? I don't know. Yeah, this is better. Yeah, this is better. I like these comments because I don't want to open C headers to read them. So I just much rather have them here. No, it's just I'm an idiot. It gives you warning if you mismatch the type or have too many arguments. Okay, thank you. So it's literally print like from Jai. Okay. So let's do this. Let's commit this. This, we won't change that. This and this. We stage that. I'm not gonna stage this. So this got changed because headers in this machine for XKB common are slightly different than in the other machine I generated initial bindings from. Which probably means that I need to ship headers I generated from in the repository instead of hard coding path to it. But it's like whatever. And lib input libudef. Yeah, so I think they're with comments already. Let me commit first. Wait, what? Yeah. Add lib udev and lib input. Easy clap. Let's push. Hey, and now Jai on Linux. Yeah, add lib. And now if you want lib input in Jai, you have go start this repo, motherfuckers. I mean, thank you very much. XCB, I think it's already with comments, no? Oh, no, it's not. I vividly remember I used to ship those bindings with comments. Like, I think I used to ship those with comments. Huh. I should regenerate them with comments. Okay, let's check it out. XCB. Right, xcb.jai. It's 5,000 lines of code, right? Now, let's generate for all and regenerate it. It's gonna take a while because generation runs at compile time. And now it's actually just 11,000. You are wrong by a merely 10,000 lines of code, which is not that bad. Do I commit it? Is it not a whole XCB? I mean, this is like XCB.h. And like XCB core or something. Or did you mean like the entire, did you mean like this and that? Ah, XCB, I see, yeah. I thought of only that one. But yeah, in this case, of course, it's like 6,000 lines of code. You see, like not all of that is documented, by the way. One of those was like super big. Was it libin? Was it? Where is? Do I not have X input on this machine? I literally don't have X input on this machine. What the fuck? I have X Wayland, but I don't have X input. That's wild. I can't ship that. Dude. I need to install X input here. XKB common. Yeah, that's not good. But I wonder why. Why would I not have it? Pacman-q grab X input. Yeah, I just don't have it. Koku. Where is Xorg? Xorg X input, here it is. I typed in input. No, it's fine, X input. Or do you mean like... Fuck. No, I have it. I literally have it. Where's the lib? Is it in a different directory? Lib xcb x input.so ls/user lib xcb x input. It's literally here. Why didn't it work then? Oh, the headers. Oh, did they? No, here it is. Did I yoink the header at some point and fucked it up? Like, all of those have headers. It seems like at some point I might have accidentally removed the header, probably just like fat fingered it or something. That's weird. That's weird. Include user include xcb x input. Right? Yeah. This is the path. Okay, let's rerun that. Stripping? No, don't strip. That's missing foreign lips. What the fuck? What's this? What is this? What is this? Stripping function that's missing from foreign lips. Client disconnect. I mean, I think this is probably X-Wayland differences, right? Shape. Does X-Wayland not support shapes? Or what? Oh, there's like, no, this seems like a lot of useful comments. I know why I disabled comments. You put the right lib name? Why wouldn't I? Where is lib input, x input here? You think I put in the... Oh my god, Emacs! Oh, Emacs is dead. I scrolled too hard and Emacs dead. Please, leave. Grab pointer. Oh. Yeah, 20k line difference. Generic. Oh, it like cursor. You see, it tried to get entire xlib here. What the fuck? Yes, something is not right. Wait, and vim user in xcb x input. I mean, it should be it, right? Yeah. 9,000 lines of code, easy clap. Yeah, I think it tries to include like, oh, you see what happens? You see what it is? Yes, it recurses here. Because on this machine, they're not included as, you know, like that. You know, they're not included as like system headers. They're included locally. Oh, I had another header like this, and so I had a header like this here, so xkb was like that. Oh, x input. Yes, here it is. It used to do that on my old machine, but that's why I included it in the repo and fixed it. You see, I actually patched it. I patched it, but I just forgot. So we'll just do this. Okay, issue solved. Thanks, past me. I already dealt with that. I had to deal with that. Yeah, I need to generate xcb from the headers. You're totally right. Totally correct. There was an issue with that though, because some of XMLs, they literally have errors in it. I remember looking at XML files and some of them literally have mistakes. Like they just are like straight up not right. I don't remember which exactly XMLs are those. Maybe they like manually fix those, you know? But I definitely remember XMLs containing mistakes. Okay, yeah. Let's see X input. Okay, now it looks sane, right? It just looks like comments added. Nice. Amazing. Nice derail. Today's stream is all over the place. So yeah, let me just do this. Oh my god, staging takes so much effort. Poor Emacs. And I know it's Emacs because Git itself is fast enough to do that instantly. It's like communication between Git and Emacs. Restore X input header, regenerate everything with comments because I like them. Almost, okay. Let's commit and push. Let's go. Okay, how much time is it? It's 10 p.m. So I guess I'm not gonna try and implement lib input in the code base because it's gonna take like an hour and a half or so just to get it to run. I'm already kind of tired. I yapped a lot today. I had very little of an actual productivity. I guess to conclude what useful we did today. We learned about lib input and udef a bit more. We like off stream today I sent drop down fixes, and I guess the most important outcome of today's stream is the fact that Wayland supports fucking activation protocol now. Yes, I'm a real software and game development streamer now. 80% yap, 10% code, 10% T fetching. True. I'm a real yapper. And the best part about it is that when I yap, more people watch. So I should transition to 90% yapping or like 95% yapping. But I mean, can I yap a little bit? I was productive for an entire week. This is the first day I yap. Maybe I just got too tired, like from yesterday or something. I don't know. So yeah, maybe or maybe I should take another break and just try to push through. It's 10 p.m. Nah, I don't want to kill my sleep schedule too much because I have a decent schedule for the past like a couple weeks. I don't want to kill it too much. In chat, watching Yapatons, poggers. Okay, yeah, I think that's gonna be it for today, right? We're generating bindings for new library. I can call it providing value to the people, and the people is me. Future me, I guess. So maybe I can just find someone to raid. Do we have some decent raid targets? Let's open software and game development and see who we can raid. Nobody is Milk to be plays Stalker. Okay, not programming content. Oh, I think Milk to be is Russian, so probably not like a raid target anyway. You doubled in the font rendering. Seems like an interesting thing to do. I actually have like a undercooked TTF parser somewhere in Jai. Lana Lux is streaming, so maybe we can go visit her. She's an often raid target for John. But do we have someone like doing something like super native? No? Hey, it's me. Oh, Spherophoria just went live. Perfect. I raided him yesterday. Nice one. Spherophoria, yeah. We'll just raid him. That's an easy clap.
Alright. Oh, yeah.
Okay, thanks everyone for watching. Once again, really appreciate quick like shield drop. Follow me everywhere. Discord for stream notifications. I'm gonna try to stream tomorrow. Actually implement lib input maybe. And oh my god, this is a copyrighted music. I'm cooked. Thanks, Ferrophoria. See you tomorrow. Yeah. Bye everyone. Have a nice evening.
Let's get out of this one restarted because I don't trust it.